Welcome back, YouTube. So I'm so excited for this review. This is our third review. We're gonna be reviewing all the druid cards for Showdown and the Badlands. Um, so same thing like with all the other videos. We're gonna be rating them from 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. We're gonna just get into it right away. I'm so excited for the druid stuff. The first one is Fade the Setting Sun. 9 mana, 4/12 dragon, rush, lifesteal, and taunt. Cost 1 less for each dragon you summon this game. This card's cool. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and like kind of spoil some of the other reviews. I'm sure everyone's already watched all the other reviews and stuff like that, but this is like the first time I'm looking at them. So I've been really too invested in playing Hearthstone lately. Just from being busy with school stuff and just not really sitting down and looking at other videos. So I'm kind of looking at all this stuff just right now, and this is great. Fade the Setting Sun. This is gonna be really cool. The fact that there's many other cards that in this review that summon up multiple dragons. This card's gonna get really cheap. And it's going to be rush with lifesteal. You're going to guarantee you 4 HP back, and it's going to at least live a couple hits. That's pretty cool. And it's also getting a signature art too, which I'm not going to go out of my way to find that card art, but it's on Brian Kibler's Twitter if you want to see it. It looks great, and I hope I get it from my bundle. But now, I do love dragons. Now, the fact that it is a dragon, you can discover multiple copies of this, and it's going to cost less for each of those. You get multiple of these and just get them going. It's really cool. But the fact of it is 9 mana, and it only reduces by 1 for each dragon. Now, there are cheap dragons and everything like that, and there is some other stuff that really supports the dragon archetype and druid now. I think this card will be great, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 stars because I don't think it's too broken compared to some of the other dragons I'm going to be looking at here soon. But it's going to be a good one that's going to really help solidify what this new dragon druid archetype is going to look at. So we're going to call this Faye. It's going to be a 3 out of 5 stars for this one. Up next is Raystraza, I think is how you pronounce that. It's 8 mana, 8/8, and if your deck has no duplicates, summon the Purified Dragon Nest. Now, the Purified Dragon Nest is this right here. It's a dormant thing or whatever in the board. It's like the Sargeras or whatever, like the whole little thing that sums up for that guy. Start of your turn, discover a dragon that costs 4 less. Now, this is insane because you can discover Fae from it, and it will cost 4 less, which means it's going to basically probably cost you virtually nothing. If you've already played other dragons with this, and it only costs 8 mana. If this costs 10 mana, I would say this card is a lot worse, but costs 8. And also, this artwork is awesome. Like, all the dragon artworks for this is amazing. And I really hope I get all these cards golden because, oh my god, this is so cool. I love these dragons. I think this card's going to be really great. And honestly, I feel like this card, like, the fact that at start of turn, you're going to have endless value. It's not a random dragon. You get to discover a dragon. So you're going to be discovering 3 dragons that cost 4 or less. That's really good. And all the other dragons that are now going to be in the pool of dragons, you're going to be able to discover those, and you're just going to have endless value. And I don't think Druid's going to suffer at all from just running a Highlander version of this. This is going to be really good, and I feel like this is going to be a top meta deck right out the gate. And it's definitely going to be one of the first decks that I try out. I'm going to make sure I get all these cards, craft them, all that stuff. Hope I get all the golden signatures for all this, and just hope for the best. A really great card, and I don't think it's broken. I don't think it's a 5-star card. I think it's a 4-star card. I do think that you can find multiple copies of this from the Purified Dragon Egg. You could get multiples here, but I'm not really sure if it works that way or not. And I really don't know if it's actually better not to get multiple copies of these, since it does take a board space, or it does take up a board space. So knowing that kind of I think kind of lowers the impact a bit. So I do think this is a 4-star card. It's really, really good. Next one up is the Dragon Golem. It's 7 mana, 3/4 taunt. Battlecry, summon a copy of this for each dragon in your hand. Now, if you have 4 or 5 dragons in your hand, you're going to summon up, that many of these guys, and they're 3/4 taunt. Now, the downside is it is a smaller booty on it. It's not going to really, any board clear could really clear that up. But the fact to it is it kind of plays together with Fae. So since it summons a copy of it, summons for each dragon you've summoned this game. I'm not sure if you have 4 or 5 of these dragons in your hand, and you summon 5 of these, if it makes us go down to 4 or 5 mana, if that really works that way or not. But if it does, that card just ties in really well. And the fact that you're probably playing this with the Highlander stuff, so you're playing with the Raystraza, you're not really going to be upset running one of these in your deck. If you're running 2, it might be a little bit clunky, but I think in a Highlander style deck, this card is going to be really good. I think it's mediocre at best. I think it's a 3 out of 5, but the artwork's pretty cool for it, and I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think after a board removal happens and you play this after the fact, they don't have anything else for it, it could definitely take advantage of that. It's not a bad card. Up next is Dragon Tales, which I think is really cool. So like there's a TV show that was called Dragon Tales. I was like, watch that when I was really, really, really young. And they have the dragons that are kind of similar to that, which is kind of funny. But it's a choose one effect to get 2 random dragons that cost 5 or less, or get 2 that cost 5 or more. So again, with the more, just generating more value from the dragon stuff. Now, there is a big, pool of dragons, and there has been some more support and stuff like that with the dragons lately. And I don't think it's gonna be too bad of a card. You're probably gonna run 2 copies of this if you're not playing a Highlander version. If you are playing the Highlander version, you're just gonna run the 1 copy. Did I say if you aren't playing the Highlander version, you're gonna play 2. If you're not, if you are, you're gonna play 1. You understand what I'm saying? And the fact that you get to pick if you want 2 5-cost ones, you can find this, or that. And then there's other cheaper ones they could find off of it, like the like this one, that one, and I guess that one as well, which is not bad at all. I think it's a solid card. I think the fact that it's limited to dragons and not other things could make it a bit worse. And there are bad dragons in the pool of dragons, but I think this is a pretty average card. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Up next is the Desert Nestmatron. I think is how you pronounce that. It's a 4-mana 3/5 taunt battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, refresh 4 mana crystals. It's not bad. Just going into the fact with Dragon Tails, you're kind of always going to have dragons in your hand, and play this on turn 4, you refresh 4 mana crystals, it allows you to do more. Not a bad effect at all. The fact that it has taunt, it's a good stat line for 4 mana. This is a solid card. I'd probably give this a higher rating than that. I think this is probably a 4 out of 5 star card. This is not bad. Refresh 4 mana crystals, and there's a lot of cheap stuff in Druid, and so being able to refresh 4 mana crystals and do more after you play a card is always better. So 4 out of 5. Up next is the Splish Splash Whelp. Love the artwork for this. Like I'm gonna bling this deck out. Like I'm gonna golden everything for this deck. 2 mana 2/1 dragon battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, gain empty mana crystal. So there's mana ramp, or there's mana cheat with this as well. Or I guess mana ramp. I said that right. You know what I mean. So on your turn 2, if you're more likely you're not gonna have a handful of dragons, you play this, you gain a mana crystal. You play the next one, you get another mana crystal. You play Wild Growth. You have Nourish. You're going to be able to really advance your mana crystals very, very fast now with this addition as well. And all you have to do is hold a dragon. That's not very hard for what we've seen so far. It's very easy to have a lot of dragons in your hand. This card's going to do really good. I think this is probably the first 5-star card I'm going to give. Druid's going to love this card a lot. This Highlander Druid is going to probably be meta defining if I had to make a guess right out the gate. Like all this stuff is pretty solid. It might be a bit slow, but we haven't seen anything that's too aggressive yet, at least from the stuff I've reviewed so far. So I don't think it's gonna be too bad. I definitely think this is a 5-star card. This could be, this is not bad at all. I think that's gonna be a 5-star card. Cactus Construct, 1 mana spell, nature spell. Discover a 2-cost minion, summon a 1/2 copy of it. Now I don't know how I feel about this. It is a nature spell, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But the fact that there's a lot of 2-cost minions that just don't really have a lot of like insane effects. I think this card's pretty mediocre, and I think this is probably one of the worst cards of the set. I can't really think of a 2-cost card that's going to be swinging the board too much. Maybe a Doomsayer would be kind of cool getting off of this. I don't really know what other 2-cost card that you're really going to be looking for this. This might just fit into like the whole aggro tree and druid playstyle, and this might just be another good card to run on that. But outside of it, I don't see it being ran with this dragon support that we're getting here. Like there's not really any cool 2-cost dragons that I recall that's gonna you're gonna want to summon aside from maybe this, but you don't get the battlecry effect because it just summons the copied. So that's what it is with that. I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 5. Next one is a Spine-tailed Drake, 4 mana 5/4 battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, deal 5 damage to an enemy minion. It's not that great. The what they call it, the Blackrock something, the 5 mana 5/4 that deals like 6 damage now or 5 damage to anything. That card's a bit better than this is, I think, and the fact that it's limited to an enemy minion and not just an enemy in general makes this card a little bit worse. It is a dragon though, and you're guaranteed to deal 5 damage to something, allows you to control the board. 4 mana is not bad. I think the other one, I think it costed 5 mana, was the other guy that I'm thinking of, the Blackrock guy. So this is a bit cheaper, but it's only limited to minions now, and also has a dragon tag, which is not bad. It also plays in effect with all the other dragon effects that you want if you're holding a dragon. I think this card's not terrible. I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. Now, the reason why I think this deck is going to be even better is this card right here. Take this, guys. Draw 2 dragons, give them +1/+1. So you're guaranteed to tutor out 2 dragons from your deck. It's draw. If you're playing a Highlander deck, you're guaranteed to pull out those dragons. It's going to thin out the deck. It's going to allow you to draw into other stuff that you want to see. Amazing card. And the fact that it's specific to dragons, it's not overly expensive. It's 3 mana. It's a reasonable price. Spending it, it's like 4 or 5 mana for this effect. I would say this card's terrible. But since it's 3 mana, this is a very reasonable card for what it does. I don't give this 5 stars. Like the fact that you're able to pull out, your Spine-tailed Drake, Splish Splash Whelp, this guy, your Dragon Golem, your your Restraza, your Fae. Getting all those cards from that is just big. And even some of the other future dragons that we see in the future for Druid, like if we're in the next, mini set or even the next expansion, if there's more dragon support for Druid, this will go into that. This is a great card. The final card that we're going to be reviewing today is Rehydrate. 2 mana, restore 70 health, quick draw, restore 2 mana, or refresh 2 mana crystals. And it's a nature spell, so you can find more copies of this from your other, effects. That's really great. Quick draw, you're going to be refreshing 2 mana on top of drawing or restoring 7 HP. That's an amazing card too. Like this card is probably going to be ran with this dragon support. It's going to be ran with any other druid that's going to be running around. If it's like, Ignis or Drum Circle Druid, like it's just going to enjoy that quite a bit. This is a good druid card in general. Again, I think this is probably another 4 or 5 star card. Like this is going to be something that you could probably expect to see in every single druid deck, whether it's Dragon, Treant. Maybe not Treant, it's probably going to be too slow for what they're wanting to do, but it's still not a bad card to refresh mana crystals. It's not bad. So yeah, that's my review for the druid stuff. If you could tell, I'm pretty, already biased because I love dragons and everything like that, but I generally do think that this is going to be a very strong meta coming forth. Looking at all the other stuff so far, it just kind of seems a little bit clunky with everything. With Death Knight, everything seems kind of, a little bit, uncertain with the treasure stuff, and everything with the Demon Hunter seems kind of like they're trying to like develop a new meta or a new type of archetype for them. But since dragons are very solidified in what they do, and it's very in the past it's been very dragons have always been semi decent, and the fact that Druid's getting all the support, Druid has really good supporting cards to allow the archetype to really flourish. And so I really think that this Dragon Druid is going to be very, very prominent in probably the first month or two of the meta, unless this gets nerfed or buffed. Who knows? It may or may not be good, but either way, I love everything I see here. I think all this stuff's going to be really good for Druid. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments of the review, what you think of the cards, and whether or not you think all this Dragon support is going to be good or not. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys later.